just want to make sure it's recording. Okay, yeah, it's recording. Thank you, everyone. Once again, welcome to the Introduction to Digital Business Analysis organized by CLAP Academy. What the agenda for today is going to be like is here displayed on the screen, the welcome session, which we are doing now. And just a very quick and brief overview about CLAP Academy, the trainer for this evening, and acknowledging the participants on the call. We will go on straight to the training session. After the training session, we are going to have a very short survey, which we urge everyone to help fill out. And then I would take on the next session after the training, which is going to be talking about today's digital landscape and what the work environment is like. The next steps after the training for today is what we would then discuss and talk about. We will talk about the training schedules after today, because this is just an introductory session to a full program that is going to be starting in January. We expect it to run for 90 days. And what we expect to see within that training program is a theoretical training of all the courses that we have, as well as the practical aspect of our training to enable people gain hands-on experience learning by doing. We are going to talk about the live projects and products that we have to work on within CLAP Academy, where people are going to gain experience. What is the earning potential of a business analyst? We'll touch on that, as well as the vacancies that we have within CLAP Academy. So very quickly, what is CLAP Academy? CLAP Academy is a training provider in the EdTech industry for people who want real change in work or entrepreneurship. We are passionate about helping people unlock their potentials using learning and immediate live application of what they have learned to deliver products, manage projects that solve real life problems. Our training gives you the skills to begin a career in a digital career, or make progress in your career, to start up a business, or to grow your business. Because what we train people on in CLAP Academy covers digital marketing to product development and product management, as well as other aspects of businesses. So what is our mission within CLAP Academy? Is to provide digital skills through e-training. All our trainings are online, remote work experience, to help you succeed in your career and in entrepreneurship. So that is what CLAP Academy is about. I am one of the trainers in CLAP Academy, one of the head trainers, and a co-founder with business partner Buchi, that everyone who's going to come on the platform will get to meet later. We have on the call Tayo this evening, who's going to be helping us with questions that are going to be asked. Tayo is the director of PMO within CLAP Academy. She's going to be helping to support this session, pick up questions and ask as we go. So the trainer for this evening, ladies and gentlemen, is Ranjit Kumar. I'm going to hand over to Ranjit in a minute. Ranjit is a senior business analyst who has worked with a number of companies. He's based in India, and he's joining us from India this evening. We really appreciate your taking the time, this time of the day, to join us, Ranjit. In India at this time, it's about 1 a.m. Ranjit has worked with a number of companies. His last company or current company is Capgemini, and also working currently with another very top company in the Middle East. So I'm going to hand it over to Ranjit at this time to take us through the training for this evening, Introduction to Digital Business Analysis. Ranjit, are you there?
Yes, Calistus. Thanks a lot for your kind words.
Great. Thank you very much. So it's over to you. Please take it away.
Sure, Calistus. So I'll be sharing my screen now.
Yes, please.
Just a second. Oh, yeah. I hope all of you are able to see my screen. So this is the first screen wherein I just want you to give you a brief about what I'm planning to cover in the coming 1 hour or so. So first we'll talk about why do you need to become a business analyst? Like what's the actual role of a business analyst and what is the real captivating factor behind the role of a BA? And after knowing that, we also need to know what is needed to become a business analyst. Like what is a specific skill set that makes you a better BA than all the other business analysts out there in the market. And once we are done with this, then we focus on what are the specializations within BA. Like once you spend a couple of years into business analysis, then you can specialize yourself into one specific domain or industry or a specific tool or like that. So we'll focus on all those specializations. Then we'll touch upon the roles and responsibilities of a business analyst. We'll then discuss further about the career path of a BA. So, the role of a business analyst has become more like a launch pad for people who do not belong to the IT industry, also to use this particular position to get into the IT industry and from there on get into some senior positions into managerial or marketing or other things. So, we'll also try to look into those aspects. Furthermore, we'll also look into the relevance of BA skill set in other jobs. So once you work as a BA for a couple of years, the skill set that you develop is having a lot of transferable skills. So these skills can actually be used in order to get into a lot of a plethora of other jobs. So we will also take a look into those aspects. And after that, we'll also look into the basic definitions of what is a business analysis or what is a business analyst, then what are stakeholders, and all the other major, the theoretical concepts that go behind BA work. Uh, then we'll look into the knowledge areas of business analysis. There is a book called Business Analysis Body of Knowledge, which is more like a Bible for the business analysts across the world. And a major portion of this book focuses upon the knowledge areas uh, for a business analyst. So we'll look into what are those 6 knowledge areas. We'll discuss about that. And then we'll look into the type of requirements. Maybe quite a few of you may already be aware of it, that the work of a business analyst, especially in the IT industry, focuses a lot upon the requirements. To be more clear, it's the functional requirements. So when we talk about requirements, we need to know what are the different types of requirements that are out there, which we need to focus upon. And we need to know what are the different elicitation techniques, the requirement elicitation techniques that can be used by a business analyst in order to gather all the required information. And we also need to know how do we prioritize those requirements. Maybe you cannot take up all the requirements that are given in the given time frame, in the given duration of the project, or even if you're able to focus on all the requirements, which one needs to be taken up first and which comes later. So we need to look into that sort of prioritization. So what are the techniques used for this? So we'll look into that. And then what are the tools used by a business analyst? So there are requirement tools, there are data modeling tools, there are collaboration tools, there are data analytical tools. So what all comes into these categories of tools and how do we use them? So we'll also try to look into those aspects, and we'll end with a particular quiz. Okay, so and meanwhile, a small note to all the participants in this particular session. Anyone has any question at any point of time, you can just raise your hand and you can, I would let you unmute yourself and then you can let me know whatever your query is. Rather than, parking your question till the end and, perhaps missing it out or, forgetting it, that is not going to be a good way. Rather, if you ask a question, many of the other participants may also have the similar questions in their mind. So you're actually helping others also to get their queries clarified. So I would urge you to really come forward and let me know if you find anything that requires a little bit more of, information sharing. Having said that, let me jump into the slide. So what are the major outcomes that you can expect out of this particular course? So there's a question here, how many hours is this for? So today's being the introduction section. So I'll be taking around 1 hour session for you. After that, Callistus will take over and he has a lot of many other important points to be shared with you. So today's session is going to be for 1 hour from my end. And then Callistus will, maybe discuss for another half an hour or so. Okay, so I hope that answers your question. Yeah. Yeah, thanks, Tayo, for your response. Coming back to the slide, what are the major outcomes that you can expect out of this particular course is today's session specifically, you would get a good introductory knowledge upon the business analysis and what is the specific demand for the role of a business analyst in the IT industry. You'll also understand the roles and responsibilities of a business analyst. Then you'll have at least a high level understanding about the BA career path, followed by understanding what is the importance of requirements for the business analyst. And finally, you'll also look at the business analyst tools and what are the
Hello.
key areas. Okay,
Somebody
so
a question. Okay, go
yeah,
ahead.
yeah. If anyone has a question, you can just let me know. Okay, so I think I can proceed. Okay, so first of all, I would like to know from the participants, like, what made you think about, joining the session? What was that driving factor which made you feel that business analyst is a role which you need to really look forward for? Any sort of sharing thoughts? Anyone has anything to uh, let me know? The floor is open. I would like to know what is the driving factor. What is that which really made you feel that this particular business analyst role is something which you should know more about.
Hello. Hi,
Yeah, hello.
it's Coria. Coria
Hello,
Stewart.
Korea.
Hello there. I'm a PA, super PA, and what I want to know is how will being a business analyst, how can I transition from where I am? I work in the financial industry to possibly like maybe a business IT role as a business analyst. How does that differ from working in the financial world?
As I mentioned earlier, as a business analyst, you work on a number of transferable skills. So perhaps in your current role, you're focusing on a lot of financial matters, but at the same time, you might be interacting with the senior management and trying to discuss about some major initiatives which can be driven. Perhaps you're doing some sort of documentation about the way the work is happening, or perhaps you're trying to resolve some issues and make and create some sort of optimization measures in the process. So these things are quite relevant to what we do in the IT industry also as a business analyst. And in fact, because you come from the finance industry, and to be frank, a lot of IT projects, the IT industry gets a lot of projects from the banking clients. So when a person has a lot of strong domain skills in the finance industry, they can use that skills and become a very good business analyst in the future in the IT industry. But what may be required is to get that little hand holding to understand what are the day-to-day activities of a business analyst. How do you work in different methodologies that are there in the IT industry, and perhaps you need to know what are the different artifacts that you create, and perhaps you need to know how do you conduct any workshops. These are little things. If you're aware of, then you are in a good position to land up in a business analyst role.
Right. Okay.
Thank you very much for that.
Sorry, can I just ask on top of that, is this what are we looking at when we're a business analyst? Is that figures, or is it just bar charts and stuff? What I mean, obviously it's not text, because that's a different level. What are you actually looking at as a business analyst?
Okay.
Let
Can I step in very quickly? That's a very useful question. But I want to appeal. Can we leave all our questions in the chat box? That is why we have Tayo, who is ready to help pick those up. At the end of
Okay.
the session, we can now roll out those questions so that we can have a smooth flow of the session. And I'm very sure some questions people might have, the session would even help in answering them as we go. Is that okay?
Yeah.
All right, thank you, Korea. Thank you,
yeah,
Ranjit. Please, let's get on moving.
yeah,
Thank you.
thanks, Corey.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
thanks,
Thank you.
Callistus.
Yeah.
you're
Yeah.
welcome.
So coming back to our slide, so let me share you some quick latest statistics related to the business analyst. So here, if you see on the left side, you see the skills companies need most in 2020. And when you look at the top 10 hard skills, you find business analysis coming at the sixth position. But in fact, when you even look at projects related to blockchain or cloud computing or analytical reasoning or AI or UX design, even these projects, which are being run in IT industry, also require business analysts. So, in short, we can say that there is a strong demand for business analysts all across the world because more and more number of companies are getting more and more number of softwares implemented in their systems, and more applications are becoming online, and more customers are using the digital applications. So, obviously, every software project requires a business analyst. And as the number of projects increase, as the number of software applications increase, tremendously exponentially the requirement for business analysts also will be increasing. So that way you can look at it like, the role of business analyst has a very bright future. And also if you look at the numbers on the right side, it says that the Bureau of Labor Statistics estimates the need of business analysts to increase 14% by 2024. This is only in one country, that is Canada. So if you try to extrapolate it across the world, then obviously you are looking at very huge numbers of the requirements of business analysts all across the world. So this is just to give you an idea about how business analyst is going to be a very lucrative job that is available in the market right now. Okay, and one more thing that really is pushing a lot of people, even those in the IT industry, in the technical roles, to look for business analysis and prep up themselves for this particular role, is the effect of automation on the IT industry. So again, some quick stats to share with you here. So you see that nearly 85% of the enterprises globally will use AI, artificial intelligence, in some form or the other by 2020. This was a major statement made by the Microsoft India president. And then there is a probability of job automation across occupations could be to the range of almost mid 40 to over 60% in the European Union. And then the third point talks about how by 2030, around 50%, means almost half of all the current work activities, are technically automatable. And then or 6 out of 10 current occupations will have more than 30% of their activities that can be completely automated. So when you look at all these numbers, what it tells you is that a lot of jobs are going to become redundant in the future because the machine learning, Internet of Things, artificial intelligence, all these things are going to replace the human beings and get the things done much more effectively. So this is creating a sense of loss of job security for a lot of people in variety of occupations. Whereas if you look at a job which is like a business analysis, here this is a job which cannot be automated because you're actually going to deal with the stakeholders. You're going to deal with the requirements, and every project is going to be different. So you cannot actually automate the work of a business analyst. In that way, if you look again, this is going to be a strong driving factor for you to understand that yes, business analyst is a role which is going to keep you in safe hands in the future. So once we understand the need as to what makes you really think towards getting into business analysis, then what we need to understand is how do you become a good business analyst? What's needed to become a good business analyst? So here, if you see, there are some quick points for you to just have a high level understanding of what may be expected from you. So first thing is we should be able to understand the objectives, the objectives in the sense the objective behind the project. whatever is being presented to us. And a BA should be having a very good verbal communication skills and should have the ability to run the stakeholder meetings, should be a good listener, should have a very good presentation and data modeling skills. So when we talk about data modeling skills, we generally refer to the UML diagrams, the wireframes, storyboarding, process mapping, BPMN, and a lot of other such things which allow you to visualize the information and present it in a better format, so that the technical team as well as the business team which is there, they can have a better understanding about how the project is going to be taken up. Then a BA should also be having good time management skills, should be very good in documentation and writing, and should have very good stakeholder engagement and expectations management, should be able to manage the external factors which lead to improper requirement capturing. Because if you look at requirement gathering, though a BA is completely accountable for it, there will be a lot of external factors which impact your requirement capturing. So how do you handle that? How do you handle the issues? And how do you ensure that your requirement gathering is happening very smoothly? So that is something which you need to be really good at. And a BA should be very good in negotiation, especially when it comes to any request for change in requirements, or new requirements coming midway of the project duration after the requirements have been frozen. So we look into those aspects. The agile manifesto, because a lot of projects nowadays, a lot of projects are shifting towards agile methodology in the IT industry. So it is very much important for a business analyst to know what is agile all about, what is the methodology, and what are the frameworks within agile, and how Scrum is the major framework within agile, how Kanban or Lean and other frameworks are also present. So that we'll look into it. And then we'll also, as a BA, you should also be having very good user story mapping skills and use case creation skills, and of course, at least a brief understanding on data analytics. So these are at a high level to give you a brief about what are the different things that are expected from a person who really wants to get into the role of a IT business analyst. And let's be frank about one more thing here. The IT business analyst role is not some rocket science. It's not something which is really going to be very difficult to master, to understand, because you're not going to learn any programming language. You're not going to learn a specific tool which is going to be very complex. So you're not going to do something which is going to be highly technical. Rather, you'll be learning skills which will help you to deal with the issues, which will help you to interact with people, which will help you to gather the information, and which will help you to be more attentive towards the finer details and finer aspects of a solution. And of course, these skills are going to also help you in a lot of other jobs. For example, I might be a business analyst who wants to explore some other career prospects, maybe after a couple of years. My current skill set as a BA really keeps me in a good position wherein I can use the current skill set and get into those jobs. Maybe I want to get into something into marketing or advertising or sales. Even the current skill set is also going to help me over there. So this is how maybe I want to become a subject matter expert, or maybe I want to get into consulting, maybe I want to get into pre-sales. So my current skill set as a BA is also going to help me there. Whereas if I would be perhaps into development or testing or support or something, then I might be spending my entire career learning one specific programming language, which will be completely useless once I leave that job and get into some different career altogether. So in that way, again, business analysis is something which is really very advantageous to be into. Looking at the Scrum framework, this is just to give you a glance, just to give you a high level understanding about what all comes into this. So when we get into the details of Scrum, so we'll also understand what are the various Scrum events. We'll have a look at the Scrum roles and what are the artifacts that are created, and what is the different Scrum values that have been mentioned just around. The concept of Scrum values came up just around 2016 or 17 odd, whereas the concept of Scrum overall was there since early 2000s. So we'll look into all these things. So this particular slide is just to give you an idea about the key terms that we need to really understand when we talk about Scrum. Okay, so having said that, if we proceed further, as I mentioned, once you get into business analysis and you want to further your career into it, wherein you want to focus on one particular aspect. So what are those specializations that you can really look into? One way is being industry focused business analyst. Maybe I might work in a couple of banking related projects for say 3 to 4 years, and then I find a lot of interest in this particular industry. So further down the line, I focus on getting into the banking related projects, and I keep on enhancing my domain skills about the finance industry. Maybe I do a couple of finance certifications. Maybe I learn a lot more about what are the latest trends in the banking industry, what are the regulations that are coming up from the central regulatory body, and how it is impacting the banks, and how the softwares which are being used by the banks are going to get impacted. And that's how I become more and more focused in the banking industry. Maybe someone is focusing on logistics. There could be someone else who is focusing on e-commerce industry. So like that, you can focus on one particular industry and become a industry focused BA. That is one specialization. The second sort of specialization that you have is the functional domain focused BA. So no matter whichever project that you talk about, whichever industry you talk about, almost every industry will be having at least one website, and almost every other company is having its own mobile application being developed and designed and used by the end customers. So, and almost every company out there has to definitely allocate a chunk of its budget into cybersecurity. So these all are some functional domains which are industry agnostic. Irrespective of which industry you're talking about, everyone will have marketing, everyone would have HR operations, everyone would have admin divisions. So if you are really good in that specific functional domain, then you find wide application of projects, which means you have a lot number of opportunities available if you focus on one particular functional domain and get into it completely. Then you can also get into tool specific business analysis. Like maybe I have found a lot of interest in Salesforce, and I've done my Salesforce admin certification, and I've worked on 3 to 4 projects related to Salesforce. Now, further down the line, I can really focus completely into Salesforce related projects itself. And that's how I become a Salesforce BA. Similarly, someone else could be a Pega BA. Someone else could be a Amazon Web Services Cloud BA. So like that, you can get into tools specific BA also. Furthermore, the one more option that you have is becoming a BI analyst, business intelligence, and you can also get into the product business analyst, where you can get into product management. That is also it's like a mini CEO in a company. So you have a lot of say and authority on a complete one particular product which is being delivered by the company. So you can even get into a product BA sort of role when you want to specialize within business analysis. So we'll also look into these aspects. How do you really get into these particular specializations in the future? Talking about the career path, one major career path is you may start at a position of a junior business analyst, then you proceed on to get into business analyst, then you become senior business analyst. From there on, you progress towards becoming a lead business analyst, and you can end up into getting into business architect role. So this is one specific career path. Similarly, another career path that you have is you may start as a junior BA, get into business analyst, and then you can get into a product owner role. And from there, you can get into product management. So this is one more career path. Similarly, you have a lot of other career paths also available out there. Maybe you can get into subject matter expertise. Maybe you can get into management consulting. So these all are multiple options that you have when you look at, and based on your interest, based on what you are really good at, you can fine tune your skill set, and based on that you can decide whether you want to get into something in this particular path, career path, or maybe this one, or a couple of other similar roles that are available. Coming to relevance of BA skill set in other jobs. So as I told you earlier, when you spend a couple of years as a business analyst, the skill set that you improve in those couple of years will help you a lot when you try to shift into some other roles altogether. So what are those roles? You can get into business architect, you can become a business systems analyst, you can become a data analyst, or an enterprise analyst, a management consultant, a process analyst, a product manager, product owner, or a requirements engineer, or a systems analyst. So these are the different roles which are there within the IT industry, wherein you can use your current BA skill set and on top of it learn a little bit more, maybe 10 to 20%, and then you get into these roles very comfortably. Okay. And after that, if we have to really look into the core aspect of what is business analysis by itself. So let us look into the definition which is provided by the BABUC, which I was referring to earlier. So there's an international organization called IIBA, International Institute for Business Analysis, which is Canada based, and it publishes this particular book called BABUC. The latest version is version 3, and as per that version, business analysis is nothing but the practice of enabling change in an enterprise by defining needs and recommending solutions that deliver value to stakeholders. So as a business analyst, what do? Is we are responsible for discovering, synthesizing, and analyzing information from a variety of sources within an enterprise. What does it imply? Let us take an example. So perhaps I'm working on a project which is about developing a mobile application for uh, something like Uber Eats, the food delivery app which is there. So let's assume that in the current scenario there is no food delivery app as such, and Uber Eats business team which is there, they have come up with an idea that we can actually come up with a mobile application which allows the customers to order a food item through a mobile application on their smartphone in their home itself. And the order gets delivered at their doorstep. Now, when this requirement comes up, so as a business analyst, what you would do is you would discover the information, because this one particular single line statement that we need an online mobile application to allow customers to order food items online may not be enough. You need to know what are the different login methods available in this mobile application. You need to know what are the different payment options available. You need to know how many restaurant options are being provided. You need to know what are the different menu items that are available. You need to know at which timing of the day can you make an order. And you need to know how the order confirmation details are going to be shared with you. So you need to discover all these information by discussing with the business team, and you need to synthesize this information. Synthesize in the sense you need to put a proper structure. You prepare a flowchart or a process mapping, or you try to put it in a use case format, or you create some user stories for it. So there are different ways in which you do it. And apart from that, you need to analyze the information. So when you discuss with the business team, they give you loads and loads of information. But how do you analyze and identify, which of that information is really important? And maybe you do your own little bit of research and try to recommend some solutions. So how do you do that particular thing? So this and all comes under the analyzing part. So as a business analyst, a person would be responsible for discovering, synthesizing, and analyzing information from a variety of sources within the company for the purpose of eliciting, for the purpose of gathering, for the purpose of understanding the actual needs of stakeholders. And why do you do that? You do that in order to determine the underlying issues and causes, to identify what is the exact problem statement that is going to be, uh, you're finding a solution for, and ensure, and you also try to ensure that the designed and delivered solution, means whatever mobile application software has been developed and tested by your technical team, that is aligning with the needs of the stakeholders. Okay, so this is in short the exact definition of what a IT business analyst would be doing. So that's one point. And coming to the roles and responsibilities, when you talk about what are the roles of a business analyst, first of all, you determine the problems and identify the business needs. That's the very first step that you need to do, followed by identifying and recommending the viable solutions. So coming back to my Uber Eats example, maybe I don't need a mobile application. Maybe even if a website is designed, even that can fulfill the same purpose. I can log into ubereats.com and I can place the order by selecting a restaurant and making the payment. Even that is going to serve the purpose. So which is a better option, a website or a mobile application? So you try to identify the various options available, and you find the value that is being delivered, and you recommend whatever solution is a better one when compared to the other options available. And once the option has been decided upon, then you elicit, document, and manage the stakeholder requirements to meet the business and project objectives. And finally, you facilitate the implementation of the product, service, or end result of the program or project. Means once you have gathered the information, once you have documented it, and once you have got the required approval on the requirements, then you get back to the technical team and try to help them in understanding the things, and work out the solution and develop and test the particular application, so that you are able to come up with the requirements and meet the expectations of the client. Okay. And this particular slide is going to be very much engaging. In fact, when the session begins in the month of January, I'll be spending at least one full session of 2 hours completely talking about this particular slide, because this slide gives you end-to-end understanding, right from the time when a project is assigned to a company till the point of time that solution is delivered back to the client, and even after that, when you provide some support after implementation. What are the different activities that a business analyst does right from the beginning till the end, and what is the contribution of a business analyst in any project? We try to get a complete understanding on that when we discuss about each and every point that is mentioned here. Okay, I'm not touching it right now because it will be very much engaging, and it may become a little bit more comprehensive. But I just want to give you an idea, like what is really the thing that you can expect to understand from this particular slide. Then understanding what are the different expectations from various stakeholders from BA. So if you look at it, BA would be dealing with a lot of people. A BA has to interact with the project manager, the business users, the other stakeholders, the development team, the testing team, the project sponsor, and everyone has their own set of expectations or their own set of requirements from the BA. So for example, the project sponsor may expect a very good format of business requirements, whereas the project manager may be requiring to get the proper scope and status required related details from the business analyst. Similarly, the development team, which is there, they would expect proper functional and non-functional requirements related information and documentation from the BA. The testing person also requires the non-functional requirements and functional requirements related information. Similarly, the other stakeholders want to focus upon the expectations and constraints and discuss those aspects with the BA. Whereas the end user who is there would be looking at the user requirements related information that is being provided by the BA. So if you look at it, it is all about how a business analyst handles all these multiple people and gets the things done through them, and also works and ensures that there's a smooth overall functioning of the total application. Okay, so that's one thing about the stakeholder demands on the business analyst. When you talk about stakeholders, there is again a slight deviation from what we know about stakeholders and what the definition of stakeholder holds true for a business analyst. So generally, when we say stakeholders, just give me a second. So before I talk about it, let me also just touch upon BPMN. BPMN is business process modeling notation. And how is it different from a flow diagram is that, in flow diagram, you may not be using the swim lanes. You may not be able to find out which activity comes under which particular, person within the entire process. Whereas if you want to really, touch upon those details and give a more detailed information through the diagrammatic format, then you may go for BPMN instead of a normal process flow diagram. Okay. Coming back to stakeholders, normally the normal dictionary meaning of stakeholder would be any person who has a stake in a particular application. That person would be known as a stakeholder. So, going by the similar understanding for a particular application, all of these people would be stakeholders, right? From the customer, the domain subject matter expert, the end user, implementation subject matter expert, the support team, the PM, that is the project manager, regulators, sponsors, suppliers, testers, including the business analyst. So all these people will be the stakeholders in the typical sense. But when I talk about stakeholder management that a BA should be good at, so I actually refer to the list of people who are going to provide you the information about the application. And these people are usually from the client side. So if I talk about the Uber Eats business team, so the Uber Eats business team will have someone from the finance head, someone could be from the admin department, someone could be from the marketing department, and maybe there's a project
Hello?
sponsor,
Hello?
and maybe there's another person.
Hello?
So maybe these 4 or 5 people who are there, these people would be giving me the details which I need
Hello?
to understand the application better.
Can you mute yourself if you're not speaking?
A small request: if anyone of you is not really speaking to the trainer, that is me, you can just mute yourself. If you have any questions, of course, you can post it in the chat window. So coming back to our question, so as I was telling you, from the BS perspective, stakeholders are those people from the business side who are going to give you the details about how the application should work. So these set of people with whom you conduct meetings and discuss about the application, get more details and analyze those details and get back to them, provide the demo of the application. So that set of people would be referred to as stakeholders. Okay. So that's about the stakeholders. Talking about the task of a business analyst, so there are a lot number of things that a business analyst has to do as part of their work in a particular project. Of course, it depends on the methodology of the project. It also depends on the type of project, because it could be a data migration project, or it could be a technological upgrade related project. It could be a enhancement related project, or it could be a maintenance project, or it could be a project of coming up with a completely new innovative product or service for the customers. So depending on the type of project, the sort of work that a BA does keeps changing a little bit here and there, but the core fundamentals always remain the same. The fundamentals are nothing but understanding the business needs, trying to incorporate those into a particular documentation format. It could be a functional requirement document, it could be a business requirement document, or it could be a user stories. And then you take these particular things back to the technical team and help them in getting the execution done. So as part of it, you focus on requirement capturing, prioritization. You will also understand what is scope mess, scope creep. You conduct workshops, you do documentation, you work on the solutioning part. You do a detailed analysis of the current scenario, you do some sort of benchmarking, you focus on functional requirements and NFRs. NFR stands for non-functional requirements. You may be also involved in doing some market research, data analysis. You conduct knowledge transfer sessions. KT stands for knowledge transfer here. And of course, you also have to support the test team and lead the UAT. UAT stands for user acceptance testing. These all terms might seem quite new to you, but once we get into the course and you understand everything, you'll find out that these all are something which is very much relatable terms for you. I mean, it's not something completely out of the box and which you have never, have never worked upon. These all are things which are very much relatable, but you just need to have that exposure, and that's what you can expect to be happening as part of this course. Then, as I mentioned earlier, knowledge areas is a major topic in the BABUK, and we'll also try to focus on all these 6 knowledge areas. When I say focus, we'll try to look at the major task or activity that comes under every knowledge area and how it is implemented, by taking an example of a particular project where these knowledge areas have been applied, and how you can get the best out of that particular application when you work using this particular knowledge areas fundamentals. Okay. Then we'll also look into the underlying competencies. What are those competencies and how these really help you as a business analyst? And then coming to the type of requirements. So when you talk about requirements, there are 4 major type of requirements. So we'll also discuss about what comes under business requirement, what comes under stakeholder requirements, and within solution requirements, what is functional, what is non-functional, and where do we actually find transition requirements, because you don't use transition requirements in every project. While the first 3 are used in any project, the transition requirements are utilized only in certain projects. So what are those and how do we work on those? We'll look into those aspects. This is just to give you an idea about what are the different types of requirements that come under non-functional. So when we get into the course, we'll also try to understand the difference between functional and non-functional. And within non-functional, what are the different examples that you can talk about? And then there are different elicitation techniques that are there in the market for the business analyst. Then there are a lot of prioritization techniques that are there, which can be used by the business analyst. And we'll try to focus on all these aspects when we really get into the details of the course. And of course, obviously, apart from this, we'll also look at some other aspects like what are the major interview questions that you can face, and what are the things that you need to be really careful about, and you need to really know very well about being in the role of a business analyst. And I'll also touch upon how you can use LinkedIn very effectively in terms of social networking, in terms of career prospects, in terms of job search, in terms of profile updation. We'll touch upon all these things also. And if required, we can also focus upon the mock interviews aspects. Okay, so having said these things, now just give me a minute wherein we'll have a small quiz here so that I can have an understanding about where we all stand about the topics related to business analysis. So I see a question here. Is there any documentation called options analysis document that a BA should produce? Options analysis document could be specific to one type of project, may not be everywhere. So we may have, as I told earlier, that every project may have its own set of requirements. So maybe in certain projects, you may create something known as requirement traceability matrix. And in some other projects, you may not touch it at all. Maybe in some other project, you prepare a document called use case document. But whereas in other projects, you may never ever use it at all. So like that, it depends upon, a lot of other aspects. Okay, I hope I was able to give you a brief about, what all things come under the role of a IT business analyst. And, when you talk about the term called digital business analyst, all these things coupled with a little bit about e-commerce, a little bit about the customer trends, a little bit about the user experience, a little bit about the analytical part, those things will help you to get into the digital business analysis sort of roles also. Okay, so now I would request all of you to make use of any second device. Right now you may be attending this session using your laptop or smartphone, but now we are going to have a small quiz. And if you are interested in playing it, so you may have to log in using some other secondary device, because this particular screen which you're attending the session, you can see the questions here, and using the second device, you can answer it. Okay. So so what I would request you to do is log on to or open a browser and type in kahoot.it. Let me just put it in the chat window. Kahoot.it. Just enter this in your browser on your second device so that you can take part in the quiz that we are going to play right now. I hope all of you are ready with your second device. Let me share my screen again. So if you have typed in kahoot.it, then you'll be asked to enter the PIN. So please enter this PIN, 7153723. You'll be able to see this PIN on the screen. I'll just put it in the chat window again anyways. 7153723. I see that 2-3 of you have already joined. Others, please join. We have around 7 questions to just have an idea about a hang of business analysis.
Yeah, let's join, guys. Let's join in, everyone. Yeah, I mean.
Yeah, I see 7 of them have joined already.
Okay, out of 27.
Hmm.
If you're on your laptop, you can use your mobile phone.
Yeah.
Okay, your tablet. You can use your phone. Okay, great.
I think I can get it started, Callistus. We have 10 people.
Yeah, go for it.
Or
Go for it.
okay, so I'm starting the quiz here. You have 30 seconds to answer every question. Okay. So the first question is, which of the following is not an activity performed by a business analyst? We have 4 options here. Select the right option.
Okay.
Okay, that's good. But only 5 of you have responded. I want all of you to respond, and all 5 of you have selected the right option. That's true that as a BA, you don't take decisions. You're more like a facilitator.
Okay.
Okay, so let me go to the next question.
Hmm. Okay.
Which of these is not a type of requirement undertaken by a business analyst? Wow,
Okay, 8 people have responded.
that's very nice. So if you have answered the correct answer, economic requirements. Okay, so Emmanuel is at top now. Next question. It's a true or false. That's quite quick. 6 people have already answered. So business analysis is the practice of enabling change in an enterprise by defining needs and recommending solutions. Is it true or false? Wow, that's amazing. It's amazing. True. Okay, so let's go to the next question. Which of these is not a requirement elicitation technique? This could be a little tricky. Oh, I thought so. This is a little tricky because Moscow method is a prioritization technique, not a elicitation technique, while JAD, workshop, interview, brainstorming are the requirement elicitation or requirement gathering techniques that we have. These are just 3, to be clear. We have a lot other elicitation techniques also. Anyways, we'll discuss those in detail when we get into the course. Okay, so going to the next question, question number 5. Which of these is not a modeling tool? So in every option, you have two tools mentioned. There is one option where we have mentioned a tool which is not a data modeling tool. If these terms seem quite new, no worries, because you'll definitely get a hang of all of these tools when we discuss about it in the course. So Basecamp is more like a project management tool. So that's not a data modeling tool. So that's the reason, that's the answer. Balsamiq as well as Adobe XD both are data modeling tools, because Adobe XD is used for wireframing and Balsamiq can be used for your UML diagrams or flowcharts and all those things. So both are data modeling tools, but Basecamp is not. So quite a few have answered it the other way. So now we have Kenny Lash at the top. There's 2 questions left. Agile is the only methodology used in IT projects. Is it true or false? Those who are from the IT industry will be able to answer it very comfortably. Okay, correct. So Agile is just one of the many methodologies that you have in IT projects. The other major one being waterfall. Okay, so just a second, I see some. Okay, so some of you are answering the chat window. No worries. Now, okay, now the final question. Which of these is not a requirement prioritization technique? And by the way, all of these are related to what we do in IT projects. So it's not like any of this is not part of IT projects. Yeah, so requirement traceability matrix or RTM, it's not a prioritization technique. Rather, it is a technique which is used to trace the requirements, to do proper mapping of business requirements with functional requirements, which are in turn mapped to the development modules or the test cases, so on and so forth. So yeah, that was the last question. And let's see. So 6 out of 7 questions were right for PO. I don't know who is this person. Then Emmanuel stands second again with 6 questions correct. And we have Kenny Lesh with all 7 questions answered correctly. And congrats T and Callie also. You have answered 4 and 5 questions respectively. So yes, that was the introductory session from myself. I hope all of you have got at least a rough idea about what IT business analysis is all about.
Awesome. Yeah, thank you very much, Ranjit. Thank you so much. Hello, everyone. Are we still together? What do you think? What's your take on the session? Tayo has the link to the survey. Please, ladies and gentlemen, let's just spend a few minutes to respond to the survey that we have. Tayo, can you help us share the survey, please? Do we have the survey? Let's hear from everyone, please. Feel free, unmute yourself. Let's make it interactive. What do you think of the session? How do you feel? Responses, you can leave your comment on the chat group. You can respond. Please unmute yourself. And if there are any questions, we can have a quick look at them.
Hi, Kali. Good evening.
Yes, evening.
Um, I found it very easy to follow. As an introduction, it was really very easy to understand. I liked the mode of delivery. I liked the pace of the delivery as well.
Great. Fantastic. Great feedback. Thank you very much for that. Anyone else?
Hi, it's Tayo. So
Yes.
yeah, likewise with what Princess has just shared, it was a very easy to follow, very informative, very engaging, and I mean, I'm not really a business analyst actually, not, inclined wise, but it did make me want to go and see if I could actually get involved. It was that good, but I know that I'm not a business analyst, but at the same time, I'm like, okay, let's check that out, so that was really good, really good.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for your feedback. Hi, everyone. Please have a look at the chat box. There is a link. We really want everyone to respond to the survey. Please feel free to give your response. We'll just take a few minutes to get everybody to do that. So the purpose of the survey is to identify which of our career path or courses offers best value or resonates best with you in terms of employability skills, in terms of getting a new role, transitioning from where you are now to where you should be, which I'm going to be talking about right away. I did share the agenda for this evening. We are going to now we're going to be looking at what today's job landscape is looking like and what is the need for people to start considering learning, unlearning what you knew before and relearning new skills. This has become a must do. It has become very, very imperative. It is one of the reasons why we do what we do. How can we empower people to develop the skills that are relevant for this age and time? When the presenter, the trainer Ranjit was talking, he started by talking about how automation has impacted how automation has impacted the IT world today, and a lot of things that we do. We talk of artificial intelligence, we talk of robotic process automation. Processes are being automated, handed over to robots that can do these things more effectively, more efficiently, more accurately. These are some of the things that we are seeing today. And we have seen how COVID has left everyone at home, not going out. Social distancing has become the new normal. A lot of things that people should go to work to do. And companies are now thinking, how can we automate this and get rid of them? That is just one. Before COVID came, there was digital transformation. I want to just give us a perspective, a little bit of understanding around what digital transformation is that I believe we hear a lot about. With digital transformation, we have seen a lot of companies closing down. We have seen a lot of companies going into administration. We have seen a lot of job losses happening. I want to share my screen very quickly. I think we talked about this in the last session, and there came a demand to kind of re-echo what we had discussed in the last session. So please confirm if you can see my screen. So we have seen a lot of companies go into administration, which is currently happening. We have seen companies like Debenhams, we have seen Mothercare, Toys R Us go into administration, go out of existence. We have seen Peacocks, we have seen Arcadia Group, Topshops, Dorothy Perkins. So many companies in the UK have gone out of existence. With all of these companies going into administration, a lot of companies losing, we have seen some that are winners in the digital transformation era. Why are companies being impacted by digital transformation? This is because These companies exist on pre-digital models, pre-digital business models that can no longer be sustainable in this age and time. And as companies are closing down, people are also losing jobs. More jobs are coming into the job market. Companies are evolving and trying to stay alive and stay in existence. Therefore, they need people who can help them do all of this. We have seen companies like Amazon taking over the whole of e-commerce and business retail space. You order something today, by tomorrow morning, there's a knock on your door, you are getting your delivery. We have seen companies like Uber that nobody knew about in the past 5 years or thereabout. Companies like Airbnb, companies like Netflix. These are digital companies that are ruling the world today, and several others. You also need digital skills to be able to get into the space of work. Now I'm showing on my screen with COVID-19 hitting the world hard. This was April this year. Netflix was able to get 16 million new signups. Almost everybody you know today has a Netflix account. And this impacted movie houses, the cinemas, a lot. That is one area, one sector that has experienced a huge loss with COVID-19. And then you look at Amazon. Here is the data. Amazon was making $11,000 per second during the lockdown. $11,000 per second, not per minute. If you do a calculation of how much Amazon was making per minute, that is about $660,000 every minute. And if you multiply that by how much Amazon was making in a whole day, that is 950,400,000 every day. That is what Amazon was making. That is why Jeff Bezos is the richest man in the world today. And with all of that came companies that were there, but they were not very popular. Look at Zoom. Almost everybody uses Zoom today. As a matter of fact, we are on Zoom right now. Zoom was getting 300 million people every day. Schools went to Zoom. Worship went to Zoom. Gyms went to Zoom. Everything started Zooming. See how much Zoom is getting every day. And this is a company that has existed long before Zoom, was not even making as much as what Zoom was getting in a day. That is 500 million in a month. And if you look at how this has affected the UK economy, this is 200,000 jobs disappear as COVID-19 pandemic takes toll on corporate Britain. Let us just go through one after the other. I'm taking us to a point. Accenture, 900 job losses. Anderson Lee, 422. Airbus, 1,700 job losses. Look at this, Arcadia, 13,000 job losses. This is Aston Martin, 500, that is even small. We look at other companies. This is Bentley Motors, 1,000 job losses. Boeing, 26,000 jobs globally. We look at Bombardier, 2,500 jobs were lost. Here is Boots, 4,000 job losses. BP, 10,000 jobs have been lost. Bright House, 2,400. It goes on and on. Burberry, Burger King, all of the companies you drive past every day, you walk past every day, they have all lost jobs. Centrica, look at, it goes on. Costa Coffee, all of these people, Debenhams, 14,500. All of these people still need jobs to pay the bills. All of these people are back in the job market. The same job market where you are going to be competing to get a new role. So for the companies that have lost all of these people, they are trying to see how they can still stay alive. And some others who are drained from the experiences of all of these other companies. So who are the people that they need? People that need the skills of the age, digitally transformed age, to help them stay alive. And COVID-19 has also come to further define how we live and do businesses. I don't know if this is making sense. So I just want to talk about what is digital transformation. We hear being talked about every day. With digital transformation, the way that companies do businesses have changed. Talking about data. Traditionally, customers are seen as the mass market. I want to project this. I want to ensure everybody is still seeing my screen. Can you see my screen? Can everyone see my screen, please?
Yeah, we're able to see your screen.
Yes.
Okay, fantastic. So let me explain digital transformation a bit. Now, traditionally, talking about data, these are the 5 domains of digital transformation that companies need to take into consideration. Digital transformation is not about technology. Digital transformation is about strategy and the new ways of thinking. Talking about customers as a domain of digital transformation. Traditionally, customers are seen as mass market. After the mass production of products by companies, what they do is they push out these products through mass communication, TV, radio, newspapers. We see those newspapers in train stations, in the buses, expecting people to see these things and jump on them. That is called the mass market. But in this digital age, it has changed to customer networks. There is now a two-way relationship with customers who don't just buy the products, they buy the experience. Customers influence one another and influence businesses these days. Customers are now dynamically connected and influencing one another, shaping business reputations and brands. That is why you see the big names are going out of existence. Big names no longer win. Customers determine how companies exist these days because they are the ones that are discovering, evaluating how they purchase things, how they use the products, how they share the products, and how they stay connected with brands. Based on these changes, it is necessary to rethink the traditional marketing funnel, and re-examine the customer's path to purchase. You must close all of the steps, including social networks, search engines, mobiles, laptops, to walking into store and to asking for customer service online through live chat. That is why in some cases today, you will see if you go to a website, something pops up. That's a chatbot asking you, how can I help you today? Because companies are trying to stay very close and connected to their customers. Almost every website you open today, they are asking you to agree for them to drop a cookie on your laptop because they want to be able to track you. That is why sometimes if you have searched for something on your laptop, you see it somewhere else that you go to, retargeting. So this is how customers as a digital transformation domain impacts businesses today. And with all of these, there are 2 aspects of the customer domain, which is the network behaviors and the network strategies. The network behaviors drive customer adoption of how they use your product. And the customer network strategy is how you ensure you meet up with those demands that customers have based on customer network behavior. This covers access, engagement, customizing, connecting, and collaborating. Time will not permit us to really touch on all of these. Very quickly, I want to also touch on the second domain of digital transformation, which is competition. That is why a lot of companies you see today, in some cases, they have fierce competition against each other. And in some other areas, companies are collaborating. They are working together. Customers want a situation whereby they are using your platform they can easily click and get into another product that they are using instead of coming out of it and going into another product. So these are some of the things that we see today. And then you talk about data, which is a domain of digital transformation. Data is the new oil. Companies need to turn data into assets. This domain is about how businesses produce, how they manage, and how they utilize information. Traditionally, data was produced in a variety of business-owned processes, from manufacturing to operation to sales and marketing, with the resulting data being used for evaluating, for forecasting, and for making decisions. But what has happened nowadays, we are faced with a flood of data with many different sources, including every conversion, interaction, or the processes inside or outside of your businesses. We have a whole flood of data from social media, from your mobile devices, from supply chain, every area. Google knows where you go to, knows when you turn off your phone, when you touch your phone in the morning. Data is now everywhere. And with all of this data that is coming into companies, they are able to strategize and determine what products they are going to build. We have seen data, what I have just shown, but when I started talking about how many job losses, how much Amazon was making in a day, Netflix sign up, all of this is data. We have seen how data have been so prominent with COVID-19. Data is what tells us how many infections countries are having, how many admissions they're having, how many deaths they're having, whether we should lock down, whether we should reopen, where are we banning people coming from. All of this is data. And what is the data helping us to do? It's helping companies to strategize and determine what products they are going to be developing. The BA has a role very strongly to play in this. Then we talk about innovation. Innovation is about rapidly developing what we have come up as products to push into the market, not waiting until we have finished the product, ship it out, and we discover customers don't even want it. We fail faster. We push it out very quickly. It is cheaper to do that these days. There are platforms where we can do all of this, and we get the input of customers and we move forward, developing what satisfies them. The last one is value. What do we mean? What did we talk about value? Value proposition refers to the value that a business delivers to its customers. In the digital era, it is no longer enough to improve your current business model or product. New technologies are drastically changing customer needs and reshaping the business landscape. So companies need to take a step back to re-examine, why is your business existing? What needs do you truly serve? And how do you adopt your value proposition in order to stay relevant? All of these are the new ways of thinking in digital transformation. So it is not really about technology. We are adopting a new technology. It goes beyond all of that. So within what we do here, how does a business analyst help a company to be able to move forward? These are some of the things that Ranjit has touched on. For a digital business analyst, you need to understand strategic imperatives. You need to understand customer experience. You need to be able to understand how companies can re-image business processes. As a digital business analyst, you need to be able to embrace agility, understand agile, in and out. You need to understand the need for continuous customer collaboration. As a digital business analyst, you need to understand the strategic use of data, strategic use of data. It is not enough to see what the data is. It is the intelligence behind the data that makes the difference. Please, if you are not talking, kindly mute yourself. Tayo, you are co-host. You can mute whoever the noise is coming from. Okay. Now, as a digital business analyst, you need to understand technology. You need to embrace product management, because as we get the data, the whole of the customer DNA becomes clear to us about what the customer needs, where they want it, when they want it, how they feel about the product. You need to be able to redirect the processes in your own side of product development and help product development and management to succeed. So these are just some of the things that I want to talk about. Now, within our course, what are the things that are present that the business analyst is going to have in our training session? That is where I want to take us to now. And then I'll talk about what are the products that you have to work on to gain this experience that is so much needed. Can everyone still confirm you can see my screen? I'm on the Clap Academy website now. Please feel free to visit the website, interact with it. It is clapacademy.co.uk. Can everyone confirm you can see my screen, please?
Yep.
Awesome. So if you come here, this is where you find Digital Business Analyst. I want to say upfront, this is an introductory session, and the whole course, the whole full program is actually paid. So I would let us know what that is. What is the estimated duration of this course? It is 12 weeks, which is 90 days. We are hoping that within that time, you would put in the work, you would put in the effort to gain what it takes to be a digital business analyst that can get a job out there. One of the things we also try to ensure, we are not just rolling out business analysts. We try to roll out business analysts with a difference. There are so many business analysts out there, but what you know differently is what makes the difference. I spoke with somebody 2 days ago. He said he's been a business analyst for 15 years. I was asking some few basic questions that are trending. He was just lost. We don't want those we train on the platform to be that. So this is it. What is the potential earnings of a business analyst? It is 450 to 600 pounds a day. It is out there. It is not hidden. I think we'll show that in a bit. And then